na mendra la kani adaya mi sanje che ta so che chana la chan chu pa do da ne je da gui chi jin ji ve so nam je ndro la ben je san je ro yo san je che ta so che chana la chan chu pa do da ne je da gui chi jin ji ve so nam je ndro la ben je san je ro yo san je che ta so che chana la chan chu pa do da ne je da gui chi jin ji ve so nam je ndro la ben je san je so la da la me da me ji hong bo da je jin la so ju ju la sha wa sha san je su ma de ji xin de we ju ju wa de da ji de be jin de ne de xie xie de we je jin de ri sa yu de ten xin che ba de la chuo de jin gu wa yi de la be nian jie xian de su san yin me de an bi da ni le ba tu la tu we su nian ji namo la ye ge tan lu dan de xian ge da ru mo de da me ye ge nan de ru wa kun jie zan chi se ba tam jia ge du da ge che den do kan ge wo den ju na so mo me ba ni de ni me yi xin ni me san me jia be me de la cha cha wo o la so da ka so re da den de de be na la pen zhe chi jin zhou wa la men be le to ga sa wa den be yin bo dong ba ni nge yu jun zhen da me ba den jin zhe wa jun yu chu zhen ne o wo su wan na xin chen ne ani zhou wa nam la di dan chi ma ne ga da ta du kang ge ga su yang ani pen ba de zhe bi pen zhe chi ji zhen dian de pen zhe chi ji zhen dian de chi ji 아니 좋아나라 멤빌레도 내가 다 타도 강근에도 값소야 아니 펜빌라도 까자와 멤범 펜빌라도 까자와 템비님보 동바니 스 아니 동바 어 템비님보 아니 사무 동바니 드레스 다 사무 동바니 기 처럼에 당신지 동바 인비 윤전 타도바데 간절해서나 템비니 뭐 동반이 내위 동반이 도바를 제비 군전 타도바데 가르에서 내위 군전 다음에 봐 땡진자와 준비수 다대 말에 동반이 되게 군전 타도바라나 매바데 아니 땡지레 땡진자와 중화래
that's
편제 취지 좋아라
편제
편 아니 기부 심지어 탐제가 내가 다 타도 관계 감냐야 관내자 편바를 제비 아니 좋아 대 두잔남라 좋아 남라라 두잔남라
So in this in the praise to dependent origination, it's said that that which benefits sentient beings, all living beings, whether it's in the present or in the future, in all occasions or situations.
햄비나도 가사와 댐비 님보 다 가자야 그 전다데 가르래서나 안에 또 댐비 님보 안에 사모 동반이들레스
And that which is it benefits all beings in the present and in the future is the essence of the teaching, this profound instruction on emptiness.
다 된다에 사모 동반이 아니 도바를 채워게 아니 균전지 타투바데 가르래서나 아니 땡진제와 중화.
And if you ask what is the ultimate reason which establishes this profound emptiness, the ultimate reason which is the final reasoning that establishes this profound emptiness, it is dependent origination.
이제 엠비니 보통하니 내외 진전 다 매봐. 아니 땡지 가서 내외 땡진 저와 중앙이 다 땡진 저와 중앙에 다 가상하니 간이 시와 나신 전이 아니 오범마가 라데 춥다 오범마와기 아니 땡진 저와 중앙에 대 아라신지 동비 군전 많이 봐. 라신지 추비 군전라고 그거래. 지난 공원나 라시지 주비 진짜 타투바데 유전을 개발해 유전을 개발 인장 아니 랑경어에 주발해 랑경어에 맞음나 아니 유전게 나샤 샤투고 말해 제니다 디 모부마이식 수고하라.
So this dependent origination then, or selflessness, is that which is the ultimate reason or this is the final reasoning, this dependent origination that establishes the profound emptiness. Other realists, philosophers, they say that the arising of things in dependence upon causes and conditions necessarily entails that whether we're talking about external objects or internal things, if something arises in dependence upon causes and conditions, then it necessarily has to be real, it has to be truly existent. 무보마올라 진징자와 중나?
진징자와 준전지 아니 라신지 주바.
They use the reason that if things arise in dependence, that establishes that things have to exist by means of an essence.
가상에게 임바 가데디다 군도나 중앙메시 집안메 시가나 친한 그 오원디다 탐제 라신지 주베 동방 인도나 아니 규제를 제와요 자투고 말해.
They say that, as said yesterday, that they say that if all these things are empty, then they don't arise, they don't disappear. And they say they use that as a reason, evidence that things have to be established by means of essence or exist by means of their own intrinsic nature.
윤전디 꾸꾸이 와르데 라신지 주비 윤전지 아니 규제를 제와 꾸꾸이 와르 나 텐데위 아니 가르에서는 균전데 균전 마양다 말에 텐데위 균전데 댄직데 가위 댄직레 마주위 댄직레 세가 가와타니 마주와 통화티 최지로 가와타 댄직데 가와스 가위 댄직스그레와 가위 댄직세데 가르에서 라시지 주와인데 주바디 균전라 유전라 제와고 때는 좀 거기 강이라 대 댄진 전대와 중화대 라신의 집이 진짜 말해 마인바 가르에서는 가와레스 가위 댄즈레스 가위 댄즈에서나 가르스고 와레스나 유전라제나 라신지 맞추고 거래 그래가지고 유전라제와 인자 라신지 추하고 추고 와레스나 유전라제나 라신지 맞추고 거래 인자랑 유전라제나 라신지 맞추고 와 인자 대가 아니 규제를 제와데 라시지 취비 균전주고 말에 대가위 댄스레 직체
So they've what they've done is used a kind of a contradictory reason or evidence which actually contradicts what they're attempting to prove. They've said that if things arise and disappear, they must necessarily exist by means of some intrinsic nature or some kind of essence. So they use the arising and disappearance of things as evidence for their having an essence or existing by means of some kind of essence. But in fact, that type of reasoning is false, is erroneous, because the evidence that they're adducing, that they're presenting, actually contradicts the proposition which they're trying to prove, that things exist by means of some kind of essence.
아니 유전显了때는 중아 인장 아니显了라려봐 인자 랑신지 좀나 아니 유전了때는显了라려봐 연고 인장 显了라말려봐도 많이 고 그래 是吧显了라말려봐도 랑신지 주의돼 봐是吧显了마도봐 주봐 显了라말려봐
So they're what they're they're thinking that So, but actually, their reasoning, the evidence that they're presenting is false, is erroneous, and the reason that they're adducing, the evidence they're adducing, that things arise and disappear, that actually does not establish that things have an essence. Rather, it establishes the opposite of that, because things arising, existing, or originating due to causes and conditions entails that they must necessarily rely upon something else. And relying upon something else is itself entails that a thing doesn't possess some kind of essence or intrinsic existence.
인산 규제를 제와이나 현라 라 말레바 마인 배첩 마인 고그레 현라 라 레바 용고레 하고서디
So la de shinra
현라 라 말레바 마인 고그레 현라 라 레바 인자 현라 라 말레바 마인 고그레
dampu di gyutsin shinra ra maleba
현라 라 말레바 요바디 랑신 투비 투자인바 가시 야게 대란 다제 차와니 현라라 말레베 바테 시자비 되와지 다 제와지 다 세리 추지다 간사가 다 쓰나면 다도 좋아 세리 가르잖아 대란 다제 차와니 현라라 말레바 요바테 현라라 말레바 요바데 간사가 띵도 현라라 말레바 요바데 키티 잠바 간사가 다음에 최지로 현라라 말레바 여바데 키디가라 최다메로와 인자 뒤뒤 잠바 가르치고를 강사 현라라 레바 풍부 현라라 레바와
So the fact of existing, a thing existing dependently or depending on something else, itself necessitates that it doesn't have an essence. It does not have some kind of intrinsic being. That intrinsic being or essence is by definition not dependent upon other things, something outside of itself. So therefore, the criterion for something being established by means of its own essence is that it does not depend upon something else. Not depending upon something else is the sort of the limit or way of defining something which exists by means of its own intrinsic essence or intrinsic essence. So that being the case, then when we take something like a self or a person, if we think the self or the person has some kind of essence, exists by means of its essence, then it would entail that that person or self would not depend upon something else. So the reason this evidence that the other philosophers are adducing for things having some kind of essence or intrinsic being, that is their arising and disappearance, that in fact contradicts the facts, because something that arises due to causes and conditions, or something that is dependently originated, necessarily cannot not depend upon other things. It necessarily must depend upon other things. So what they have done then is taken the evidence of arising and disappearing and using it to establish something which is contrary to the case, to the facts.
cherangi ngama wa cherangi chinangi o nam rashi ji tribi gyen gyunzen la ani tene jewa 규제를 때는 기와 그 바티 규제 양다도 조금 말해 민주와 가래서 규제 치질로래 규제 치질로 여자 강인자 때는 기와 이나 현라라 말해봐 가서 말해봐 여봐 많이 배고 많이 고 그래 인상 봐 인상 가와래 스가비 댄지래.
So these realists then are what they're doing is actually presenting a reason or evidence which contradicts the facts. And the reason for this, or how this is so, is that they have taken the arising and disappearance of things as entailing that things don't depend upon other things. That they're not dependent upon something else outside of themselves. And that's contrary to the facts, because anything that arises and disappears necessarily has to depend upon something that is outside of itself, external to itself.
대체 가와타니 세세. 드네다 마주와 세리가라. 다 가서래 지난 그 오고 라신지 주바 주비 굉장히 거기 잡아 라신지 주비 소지 최전의 손이 라신지 주비 오버데 최전의 손 라신지 주비 오버데 아니 라신지 주바 인데 인비 굉장히 규제를 개바 인비시 거바자지나 규제를 개바데 라신지 주바기 폼비딩도 주고 말해 무주바 가래서나 라신지 주비 폼보디 규제를 개바 말해 하고서 라신지 주비 폼보디 규제를 개바데 라신지 주비 폼비딩도 주고이나 라신지 주비 폼보디 규제를 때에 개바 인거래 와 대마이다 맞주바래 맞주이 댄스래
랑싱이 두비
일단 루디 담바 고랑기 제대되라 라신지 주의 풍보샤네 풍보지 최전을 샀는데 라신지 주바인데 규제를 깨두가 쓰거래 다 규제를 깨와데 라신지 주의 풍비된도 주바를 해서 나 단주로다 마주바 가르에서 라신지 주의 풍보도 규제를 깨와 말아봐 어땠어
So the proof that the realists here are trying to present is that something like the aggregates exist by means of their own essence. They are established by means of an essential nature or intrinsic nature. So they're claiming that these aggregates that exist by means of their own intrinsic nature 랑싱이 두배 풍보 주진
라신지 주바인데 규제를 깨와래 어쩌지나
So they're saying that these aggregates, which are established by means of their own intrinsic nature or identity nature, those are in fact established by means of intrinsic nature or essence. And the reason that they're giving is because they arise and disappear, because they originate due to causes and conditions. So the evidence that they're adducing, or the reason that they're giving for things having an essence, is the appearance they're arising due to causes and conditions.
오야, 내 인자다 오메 와기 아니 지난 거 라신지 주와 주비 균제 아니 규제를 깨와 거와데 규제 치주라다 규제 마주와 인장 다 지난 거 탐제 라신지 동바당 때내 중앙이가 때내 중앙데 라신기 동비터레 스가레 땡주 인장 라신기 동바레
땡주 인장
라신기 동바
So the way the opponent or the realists have presented this, their proposition is actually faulty in that the evidence that they've adduced, the arising of things or things originating due to causes and conditions, actually proves the opposite of what they're claiming. In fact, what any kind of inner or outer thing, whatever it is, any kind of thing that exists, is necessarily empty of having that kind of essence. is devoid of possessing some kind of intrinsic nature because it arises in dependence on causes and conditions. You can So they say then, or here within this tradition that we're presenting here, we would say then that inner and outer things are devoid of essence. They're empty of that kind of essence, because they arise on from causes and conditions, and arising from causes and conditions establishes that they are dependent upon other things. They necessarily depend upon other things. And so we use that arising of due to causes and conditions as evidence to establish that things are devoid of an essence. Whereas the realists say that the appearance and disappearance of things is evidence for them having an essence.
Oh yeah. 가와타네 마주바 통화티 치기로 기타 콘도 추버치르스다. 다 천년 남시 동반이 땡중텐도 통화나세. 다 뭐마와 치기 계란지기 안에 라신지 주와지비 zem바 텐진데 마 충도 천이 안에 동바 땡중고 텐도 통화지나. 와 천년 남시 동반이 땡중텐도 통화나세. 아니 때내 중화라 라시 때내 중화라 라시지 주버 동 라시지 주베 동바라 아니 차제 탐제 빌레데네 저거 중화다 제법이 차와 제바다 제법보다 제바당 제의 유라서와 아니 타버디 또 그랬어 강체 그냥 남시 동반이 땡중텐도 통화나 땡중 동바 땡중부터도 통화나 땡중 동비도 통화나
So then it said that when one understands that emptiness means dependent origination, when one understands that being empty means originating in dependence, that being empty entails or is something arising independence on other things. Then 남식이
한진 도한데 동바 땡중부터도 또 저지다 많아. 현재 남식 동반이 땡중텐도 또 봐나. 아니 랑신지 동바라 인대당 차제라 써봐 민가와데.
So when one understands that being empty, things being empty, entails or has as its meaning they're being dependently originated, then one will understand that all sorts of functioning of things, the function of things functioning as agents, things functioning as actions that are performed by agents, all of the different kinds of ways in which activity occurs, all of that will be appropriately established, justifiable, and then one will understand that.
Oh yeah. 다들이 텔렌도데 라 텔렌도바 동바 땡중고 텐도 마도나 텔렌도바 통하나 텔렌도데 동바 땡중 땡중고 텐도 마도나 아니 라신지 동하라 아니 차제 태바데 아니 좀미도바 라 라신지 동바라 차제 태바데 좀미도바 라신지 동나 아니 차제 밑에 거고와 차제 밑에 바고 인자 아니 랑시지 동발라 랑시지 맨날 매번 zem바기 아니 군데 예께와 인자 아니 가산나시 정도 다체가 타니라 송야되라 양아양도 송화신 staying by it.
So if one understands things in the opposite fashion, if one does not understand that things being empty means that things originate in dependence, are dependently originated, then one will necessarily fall into some kind of wrong view, an extreme view of either realism, in which one assumes that things exist intrinsically, they have some kind of essence, or one will fall into the other extreme of nihilism, thinking that things don't exist any way whatsoever. Either way, one will fall into these two kinds of extreme views of realism or nihilism. The first one, in which one is exaggerating the status of things, the way things exist. And then the second alternative of nihilism would be where one underestimates or undervalues the way things exist and doesn't attribute to them the ability to perform functions and to exist within causal relationships and so on.
Oh yeah,
That's what we did briefly yesterday a little bit.
다 가산 되는 임바 천이 돈이 뻥치 왔어요 말에 그러면 천이 돈이 뻥치 봐 강대가라 밑에도 세대 천이 돈이 뻥치 봐서 얼마와 천이 라신지 집에 돈이 뻥와 쳐봐대 아니 탄주왕 루라 아니 밑에 봐 나디 대화라 대지 천이 돈반이라 내가 망보 전에서 동반이 매나 안 동반이 라신지 동반이나 아니 레당 저 미대바당 어디니 파비 템바 미대바라 소와기 녀와 망보 전에 동반이 뽕와셔봐 강연바데 아니 단주방에 루라 주바 전디 주그 말에 주바 미대도 라
So yesterday we were at we went over the second part of verse 13, which it says that you by abusing or reviling emptiness, that sort of abuse of emptiness, which for you and the abandonment of emptiness. That's not suitable or appropriate for me. That's what the last line of the root text says. And so then the commentary says that, therefore, you, having expressed many kinds of faults towards emptiness, and the faults here are as enumerated above, saying that if things are empty, they can't arise, they can't disappear. If things don't arise and disappear, then there's no suffering, there's no origin, cessation, or path. There's no persons who actualize these to understand and actualize them. There's no results of it, and so on. All of those faults that were expressed above. Having said, someone who says those sorts of things, that sort of abuse that's leveled on emptiness, that is not suitable to be applied to my tradition. My tradition here refers to the Prasangika, the consequentialist Madhyamika.
어디 밑에도 디다르르 남 최진이 있어서做어디 어디와 做 인사리 최진이 자와천이 좀 오메 비튼시 어디와기 된다마 된진이 위치 되고아래 와 어디와라잖아 야나 자와천이 좀 오메 봐 저랑게 자와천이 네 동바 미니세데 아니 라시지 메베나 아니 때문에 매바데 동반이기 텐도잖니. 그러와 라신지메 바데스 디 최지서 오마 찔라자이나 최진이 차와 진이 중 오메바세 차와 진이 중 오메바데 라신기 동반이기 텐도 로다네 아니 탄주월에 쥐어버려. 와 저와 준이지 maybe 텐데 아니 동반지 텐데 다네라시 maybe 텐체 동반지 텐데 저다네 견저바 이나 고자 탄주와니 아니 저와 준이지 매바데 동반지 그 텐데 되고 말해 워낙 가르래선 电竞者wa中于团让信息当电竞者wa中wa 인장让信息东北团队切白 아니 저와 전이진 매비 대동반지 텐도 손에 아니 탄주와라 저비 진지되다 미리서 스와스가다.
So here then the commentary explains that regarding this, you here the opponent could be understood as a Sautrantika follower of the Sautrantika school of Buddhist philosophy, or one could also construe this to refer to other types of realists. They would say. Or they could say that the inability to perform any kind of function, this sort of non-existence of the ability to perform functions, they would superimpose this onto and mean as the meaning of emptiness. They take emptiness and they exaggerate it, or they superimpose upon emptiness the idea that the things being unable to perform functions is the meaning of emptiness. If they're expressing that sort of criticism towards emptiness, well, that we don't accept that. We, being here the Prasangikas, the consequentialist Madhyamikas, don't accept that. But we say that
대화 중에 된 라신이 좀 비텐도 아니 체배 되고 와래 와 안된 견제도 조금 말해.
So we say that because we say that the meaning of dependent origination is we explain that that's the meaning of being empty of essence. Therefore, this sort of refutation that you've attached to us is incorrect. All of these refutations are incorrect.
우마위루라 차세 탐제 미대비 저바 용야디 가르다는 연구와래서나 동바 땡중 그 텐도 맞죠마 땡진 저와 중화 인상 라신지 맞주바다 라신지 맞주바 인상 땡중 인바 인자 동바 땡중 그 텐도 마도비 균전지 아니 라신지 동나 아니 때는 매고 그래 차세 탐제 밀게고 그래 세게티 아니 저바디 용아래 와 인바 송바 가세 마도비 균전지 인바 송베 인상 동바 땡주 그도 또바 쳐와라 안에 빼서 치고 그래서.
So here in the Madhyamaka tradition, the tradition of the middle way, or this argument which which claims that that within the Madhyamaka tradition, the tradition of the middle way, that the agents and actions, all of that kind of functioning of agents and actions and so forth, all of those are undemonstrable or unjustifiable. This sort of argument comes about is because of not understanding that emptiness means dependent origination, not understanding that the emptiness means that things arise in dependence upon causes and conditions, and that arising independence entails that they're able to perform functions, engage in relationships such as being agents and actions. So, because of that reason, that all of this argument, which attributes this sort of unacceptable ideas to the Madhyamaka tradition, are coming out of that. Then, therefore, it's important to make effort at understanding this.
Oh yeah, that's somebody. 지난 공원나 라신지 동발라 게임에 바로 마세 연단 여바데 대인바래 是吧？对原来有吧？科学个错了，科学让先去当把对比错了，我们往那么去个，安尼来对的电视，那他把电话来说啊，没得比就没就把马赛电话来说呗，那下他们就切心都太不来，是让先去当把了，
So then we've come to the point where it's the division of the text, where it says that not only do these faults not apply to our position, the position of the Madhyamaka, which holds that all things are devoid of essence, yet that all things are devoid of essence. But not only that, this position has many good qualities. And then the commentary starts by saying that with regard to our position, these not only is it the case that these faults that you've expressed do not apply, but not the faults of the non-existence of the relationships between agents and actions and rising and disappearance of things and all of those other faults, the non-existence of the Arya realities and so forth. Not only do those not apply to us, but in fact, all of the presentations of the realities, that is, the four Arya realities of suffering, origin, cessation, and path, etc., all of those are completely acceptable and justifiable for us.
Oh yeah, taba inde kala tomba ni ruma tela tamje ruma chus. 아니 가서 시칸라 라신지 동반이 여바자 여밤 롱아텔라 아니 가서 둘라테네 두군중라테네 저우동야 총에 봐 아니 차제라서 와 탐제 아니 여밤 롱그레 롱아주레 봐
So then it says the root text, the first two lines of it say, for that for which emptiness is fit or suitable, then everything becomes suitable. Everything is fitting, appropriate for that. For that. So here we can just gloss the lines of the root text by saying that any kind of thing which is within which emptiness is suitable, that is any kind of base for which emptiness is fitting. Then for that kind of thing, all of the sorts of functioning and existing within causal relationships arising and disappearing and so forth, all of those become suitable.
Oh, devala, didar lu khanda khanila, lu dela, ane chinang gong o tamje rang chenyi ji trubi, rangxin ji tongba, rumam, rangxin ji toba, ane yoba tela. 공도 아랑시 동 아니 가서 동바라 셰바기 유단 대비 남샤 아니 대신 남샤 지금의 대신 파베 담바시다 유단 대부당训练라 소바 탐제 롱왕과 여봐요 그래.
So, and the commentary explains this, that as follows, or as in a system or a tradition for which things, that is the emptiness of essence, that is emptiness of essence, which is things not being established by means of intrinsic identity. All things existing in that way, not being established, of having emptiness, being empty of essence, of an essence which is established by means of its own intrinsic identity. So within that sort of tradition, then all things are able to, are appropriate or fitting as expressed above. Here, the way in which things work, as expressed above, refers to the causal relationships of things, that things arise due to causes and conditions, and then based upon that the four Arya realities of suffering, origin, cessation, and path, those all can fit together with each other and operate together. And then based upon those operating, then one can obtain the results of that and abide in those results.
텔라탐제 롱와 주 롱루니 가르레에서나 코자 탄주와 땡진저와 중화라 땡진저와 중화 저와 땡진저와 중화이나 아니 랑신지 예배 동바 땡진저와 중화이나 현라라 레바 인고래 현라라 레바 이나 현라라 말레베 예배 동바 동비도 막고래
So within our tradition here, this again is referring to the consequentialist school of Madhyamika. Within our tradition, we say that dependent origination is the emptiness of being empty of existing by means of essence. Here, essence, as mentioned, refers to a nature which is not dependent upon something else. Rungluk.
랑신지 예배 동고레스 가르 땡진저와 중화라 현라라 레버긴고레스 현라라 레버이나 현라라 말레베 예배 동고레스 랑신지 예배 동바 동비 동바니도 마데스.
So the way we could say that the way in which these are all fitting or appropriate is that we say that the emptiness, which is things being empty of existing by means of essence, is dependent origination. I'm sorry. Let me start that over. Sorry. We say that we call dependent origination the emptiness, which is things being empty of existing by means of essence. I got those reversed. So we call dependent origination the emptiness, which is things being empty of existing by means of essence. And again, essence here refers to a nature of not depending upon something else.
대실 강라 동바니 롱와 텔라 스토니 라시지 동바 요와 텔라 땡진저와 중화 롱 땡진저와 중화 요와레 와 땡진저와 중 라시지 동바니 롱와 요바 텔라 땡진저와 중화 롱와야 요바레 땡지 요와레 땡진저와 중화니 동아도 규지 와 땡진저와 인저와 중화 인상 아니 두군중에 때네 저 동안이도 동아 용그레스 저 동아와니도 교지 아니 땡진 저와 중화 메주나 아니 두군중에 때네 저 동아 메준 거래 용 미쳐버래
So therefore, because we call dependent origination this kind of emptiness, being empty, devoid of existing by means of its essence, and essence being something not depending upon other things. Therefore, for us, for whom emptiness is suitable or appropriate, for us, or for a person for whom emptiness is suitable, then dependent origination is suitable for such a person. And here, something being dependently originated, suffering can occur. It means that because suffering arises from the origin of suffering, the causes and conditions which are the origin of suffering, it can occur because of being dependently originated from those causes and conditions. But if suffering was not dependently originated, if it did not arise dependently, then it would be unsuitable or impossible for suffering to exist.
Oh yeah, that didn't. That 제부 동아연아니 동아 군중아 세가나 안에 동아 그 군중하당 군중 제부 동아연아 군중당 제부 동아대 고바당 동아 고바 체비 아니 람 로아 동아 고바 조이래 람롱아치 동아 고바 체바게 달라 람데 롱그레 로아. Yeah.
So if suffering exists, then it's suitable for the origin of suffering, the cessation of suffering, as well as the path which goes towards, which takes one to the cessation of suffering. All of those become suitable.
대다연아 세가나 동아다 군중당 고바당 남연아 대다 시와소 세가나 동아 시와 차와 군중 방와 차와 고바 원도 차와 남 공바 아니 아니 샤초 그래 그래 아니.
So if those exist, if suffering, origin, cessation, and path exist, then through understanding of suffering, the abandonment of the origin of suffering, the actualization of the cessation of suffering, and the development of the path which leads to the cessation of suffering, all of those become appropriate and suitable.
동아 시와다 군중 방와다 고방원도 차와다 남 공바시 연나 대시 연나 대이나 되니 가선 권도지 샤바 나신 제님 아니 규슈지 제부 토만 군주에서 봐도 규슈지 제부 시원기 제부 치몽기 제부 다준비 제부 제 제부 남당 아니 치용 규슈기 제부라 내비 가사 파파 치용기 제부라 내비 가 아니 치용 제네 아니 가 치몽기 제부라 내비 치몽 제네 다준비 제부라 내비 아니 다좀 제네디 텔라 내와나면 룽오 야
And if those four exist, then the results of them, that is, the results that come from those, I'm sorry. If those four exist, then the four types of results, as well as the four types of persons existing within those results, having those results, would become suitable and fitting. Here, the four results are the results of becoming a stream winner, the result of becoming a once returner, the result of a non-returner, and the result of an arhat, those sorts of results. And then abiding in those results, or existing in the state of having those results, refers to those four types of persons who have gotten those results.
Oh yeah, that Janet Tang, and I want to share about 아니 대우시를 내와탕 다양 대우시부대 지복 랑랑 토비 치도 아니 좋아라 슈야기 아니 슈바 저우테 토바 안 토비 텐도 아니 배전 신경기 아니 야 슈바시 주슈라 주슈초 슈바 치원 슈바 치몬 슈바 다주 슈바 슈바 인장 슈바 네 대나다 슈바 연나 대나다 슈바 연나 sira dene da shuba yana ani pabe gundi dang ani demba nam yuen pabe gundi shagore stene pabe gundi de deule ne wa dang shuba de da pabe gundi wa pabe gundi dang demba nam yuena sikala gobe demba da lamji demba yana tambe chile gore 고된 남전이 오 템페처와 고대 dembanam dang yuan 군대 dang dembanam yuan na 템페처 dang 다 되니 담제 dang 군대 구조 dang 템페처 니 yuan 안에 상제 자 롱라 대지 구조 소면 롱오 와 대지다 여기 가장 뭐마와기 슈년 미대바 개년 미대바 대신 미대바 군조숨 미대바기 교회를 당글다 레도스마 자고 하래.
So then if those abiding in those results, a person existing within the persons existing within those results, and the persons who are commencing towards achieving those results, if those exist, here abiding in the result means having achieved the result of being a stream winner, once returner, non-returner, arhat, and someone who has commenced towards those kinds of results refers to a person who is applying themselves towards the practice of achieving those results, who is making effort towards achieving those results. If those persons who exist in those results, as well as those who are commencing towards achieving those results exist, then the Sangha exists, the Arya Sangha, the Sangha of Aryas. And likewise, that Sangha would exist, as well as the truths. The truths which here are specifically the truth of cessation and the path to cessation. Those two truths would exist, and if the Arya Sangha and the those truths exist, then the noble Dharma exists. And if those two exist, that is the Sangha, Arya Sangha and the noble Dharma exist, then it's suitable for Buddhas to exist. And therefore, that being so, then it's also appropriate, suitable for the three treasures or the three jewels to exist as well. So here, this sequence of statements is in direct response to all of the accusations, the criticism that the realists have attributed to the Madhyamaka followers of the Middle Way, the Madhyamaka school up above.
그래서 오야 군조스면 롱오스 온 드니 직된len 대화 다 직된len 대화 파벨람 직된바다 직된발 세제 람덴 토마토라세 다 담자바레 직된len 대 매대기 오 탐제당 아니 최다 최마인 바당 아니 디 대부 최다 최마인 비 대부당 아니 지된 비타냐 탐제 아니 다 롱그레.
And if these are all appropriate and fitting, then we can say that that all of the things which either transcend the world or have not transcended the world, all of those things transcending the world can refer to the cessation of suffering and so forth. There are many different things categorized within that. And then things that have not transcended, gone beyond the world. All of those sorts of things, as well as dharma and non-dharma, things that which is dharma and that which is non-dharma. And the results of those as well, virtuous and non-virtuous results, suffering and our happiness and suffering, as well as all of the conventions, worldly conventions, become appropriate, suitable.
롱루 탐제니 여발라 제베 롱시와니 여발라 제베 여발라 아니 제베 셰진 저와 저와 직상 셰진 대양 오미루라 임바 오마미루라 임바 송베 오마라 라신지 돈발라 차제 탐제 롱와 차제 탐제 여바 저와 오 대간 대양 오마미루 임바 송신 예제되나 아니 얘나 라신지 여고 그래 라신지 얘나 여다 동화당 남샤 탐제 생활을 깨와요 그니 terminal 스타 병아와 나라와 가시기 라신지 여바 말에 얘나 라신지 여고래 라신지 얘나 얘다람 따달hun 그래 다오는 유주 간제 요와래서나 생활 잠도 생활 균제의 체제 담치 그래 왜 맞아 요와 말이 생활의 균제의 차와치 그래서 얘다 유주의 생활을 깨와대 된다 말이 여와 더 말이
So, with regard to all of these things, the way that all of these things are appropriate, with respect to that, it says the commentary explains here. The commentary is referring to the Clear Words commentary. Explains that this means that they exist, existence of these things, and. And since the commentary explains as well that this is the tradition of Madhyamaka, the followers of the Madhyamaka, then because it says that, if one, it doesn't mean, or the meaning of the text is not as would be presented, as is presented as follows. Here, some Tibetan scholars prior to Je Tsongkhapa, Je Rinpoche, they said that if you accept that something exists, if you accept existence, then you fall into the extreme of existence, and because they held that kind of view, they said that all presentations of things. The presentation of things as existing, all of that is simply maintained from the perspective of others. It's only the presentation of things as existing is simply maintained from others' perspective.
그래서 여지되나 여덟 동화당 나자 탐제 생활라 권하라 기위 되면어 오세. 연나 라신지 요거래 라신지 연나 정도가 타선 거래 아니 최점제 여봐야 많이 매번 연나 자제 태기 와래 아니야 매번야 많이 다오나 자체 가게 남자 가래서는 안에 생활 잡는 여봐를 마다 여봐 말에 스타투스가 거.
So these scholars, earlier scholars said that if something exists, if we say that positively that something exists, then we'll necessarily exaggerate it, and that's an exaggeration to say that things exist. And therefore, if one does that sort of exaggeration, then one falls into the extreme of existence. So we can't say that things exist. And then they go further than that, and they say it's also not the case that things are non-existent, because if we assert that things are non-existent, then it's impossible to justify relationships like agents and actions and so forth.
Jön goba bola, niwa jön goba boni la jön de jubi chu siri kana da yage ngwe ma wa ge tanju wa na la ane khonde mi da ba den shi dang ane khwa ju do ge ba mi da ba jön goba de tanju wa la mi se mu ju ba ma se ane ngwe ma wa ra ni la jubi chu de la ba jön goba bola jön jubi dun zhen de rang ge jön la xian ji jön de song zu So
here it leads us into another division of the text where it says that it shows the way in which those faults apply to the person who is attributing those faults to us, to our tradition, the Madhyamaka tradition. So here the realists say that if everything is empty, then there can't be, things can't arise and disappear. All of the faults that come out of that sort of position, they're applying them to the Madhyamika position. So here the text is showing how those faults, in fact, apply to the realist who is attributing those faults to our system. And so this is divided into 3 sections where it says the reason why the faults apply to the person who is attributing those faults, and the way in which the way in which that person who's attributing those faults is and then by means of that reason, or understanding that reason, how the faults actually apply to the person who is attributing those faults to the Madhyamaka school, by that one is able to see Rangikyunla. How it is that they hold their own faults as applying to, as being others' faults, how that occurs. And then a clear exposition of what those faults are.
Kala Tony Miruma, Telatamja Mirun, Romanju say. Kala, Chill Kala, Rashi Tomba Miruma Tela, Ani, Denjin Devachuma Mirume. What Dendri Mirumare, Dendri Miruba in Ban, and Nashatamja Mirumare, Siguara, that they all to do. So
the first, how that fault applies to the person presenting the fault starts with the root text where it says that for someone for whom emptiness is unsuitable, then or for something for which emptiness is unsuitable, everything becomes unsuitable. Here, if you say any kind of thing, if emptiness is not does not fit with it, if emptiness is not appropriate for it, literally, if emptiness is not joined with it, then nothing will fit together with it. Here, this is referring to any kind of phenomenon. If it's not empty, then it won't be able to function in relationships such as agents and actions and so forth.
Lu Kala, Skalas, Lu Kala, Rashinji Yebe Tomba, Ni Miruma Tela, Dendi Miruma, Stendi Javacha Sharungumare, Yabamares. They may be that Namshatamja Miruma Chuti. Chida Miru Suniki, all the Stia checking so on.
So here it says within any system or tradition within which things being empty, or within which the emptiness of existing by means of essence is unfitting, doesn't fit. For that kind of system, the entire presentation by means of because dependent origination would not be fitting within that kind of tradition, then all of the different presentations of things, the presentation of everything, becomes unsuitable or unfitting. And the way in which it won't work is unfitting will be explained extensively below.
다 니와 대랑기卷라 현지卷도 송주대.
So the second subdivision here is that how, because of that, how it is that one grasps at one's own faults as being the faults of another.
나태송도 코 대다 코짝이 코착이 초 단주와랑 그초 치용서 다진 아니 관대진 나자 탐제장 민가와 내와 인라 당시기 동바대와 인자 관대진 나자 탐제대 민가와 내와 인라 랑기 초라바 신도 내와 견단된 바당 가와라 단주와라 랑기 초라바 신도 내와 견단된 바당 가와라 아니 신들림벨 그봐 신들림벨에서 랑도길랜라 다 가서래 nembaji namen jebala shindu lumbe yuandan da gyun chidan newa ma tongwa ngoma de ra ma tongwa
rangi chu rapa shindu nyewa kyundan tam
rangi chu rapa shindu nyewa kyundan tam ba tan kaware tanjuwa de
tagyuwala
tanjuwa imba tang tanjuwa la rangi chu rapa shindu nyewa kyundan tam ba tan kaware 코카르레서나 치용소다바 관대지 나자탄데 민가와 교통거와
거쳐죠 랑기 초그라바
신도 녀와 견단된 바당 가와라
랑기 초그라바디 ngurmawa이
ngurmawa기 이 대주 관대가 나셔 주주 라바테다기 게 라바테다 체크하고 탄주와라 가와레 스거와 랑기치 라바 신도냐와 견다 담바 당 가와라 관대지 남샤 탐제 용서도 가세 랑기초 체 용서 다제 관대지 나샤 탐제 라시이 당와라 민가와 내와 임바라스 와 된다 왜 탄주와 되라 랑기 초라바 신도 대초 된다 뭐마와 뭐마와 랑기 초라바 신도 녀와 견단된바 당 안에 탄 가와레 와 되니 신들림배 연된다 견 지들 마통와 마통와 뭐마와 티체
그래 뭐마와체 랑기 초라바 sana
뭐마바 견 제저와 뭐마왜 견제저 랑기 초라바 신도 녀와 그 견단 담바 견견데 탄주월에 된거 말에 탄주월 담바 가와레
the way in which the other person, the realist here, has ascribed his own faults to as being the faults of another, that is, being the faults of the Madhyamaka position, is as follows. And here Chandrakirti is saying, our position is completely pure, is extremely and completely pure, and it exists such that the entire presentation of samsara and nirvana is non-contradictory. There's no contradiction within our presentation of the entirety of samsara and nirvana. And you, who, and here you is the realist, who is extremely foolish with respect to your own coarse sort of position, which is extremely faulty and filled with error, and is contradictory. You don't see how the virtues and the faults actually are, how they actually exist.
That's right.
Yes.
춘이 랑그 쥐나니 나라 용수 쥐쳐봐스. 뭐뭐 코랑라 난 주비 아니 가소래 쥐 코랑라 주비 쥐한테다 랑신지 마도나 아나 똥 마도바 캐 말라나 아니 가소래 뭐뭐 발라 주바 그 쥐한테 아니 랑신지 똥바 캐래 발라 주라 쳐봐 나라 용수 쥐쳐봐 아大了我把先行度大年节把去完先大了先行度先些大的俺节把去完那些人他的这往嘛听不多
So here it's saying that in the root text it says, you have turned all of your own faults, completely turned into your own faults and applied them to me. You have transformed your own faults into mine. And here it's saying that the realist is taking the idea that things are empty of intrinsic existence and coming up with all of these faults that arise from he imagines by imagining that holding the position that things being empty of intrinsic existence entails all of these faults. He has sort of taken those faulty notions and ascribed them to us. And so the example that's given for how this works is that it's like someone who's riding on a horse and has forgotten the horse.
Oh yeah. 춘이 랑그 쥐남 나라 쥐도 주어 쳐봐대스. 뭐뭐 봐 쳐랑기 라 당신이 마동바 캐란바 인장 당신이 마동바라 주비 쥐남 아니 당신이 동바 등갱기 안 탄주와라 쥐도 주어 쳐봐 인데 배나 가시기 아니 大了学习都现在大点你接不了区别菜是吧大的现在错别年外安尼让个大学话的大的现在错别年外安尼闲了感觉吧两个错吧两个错吧你闲了两个错吧提醒度让现在越白当吧点中个参与机大了学习都生命应该偏没明白那是吧？让现在一般当把点中给参与及大了心情都，身为一般，俺那让现在一般当把点中没明白那，俺那科学家了这把的用下来是。
So here the commentary explains the meaning of this verse that you are someone who's transformed your own faults and ascribed those faults to me. You've transformed your own faults into being my faults. And the example is explained as, for example, someone who, as they're riding on a horse, they forget that horse itself. They forget the horse, and then when that horse is stolen by somebody else, when the horse is stolen by somebody else, the fault of that they criticize somebody else for the horse being stolen, and just like that. Someone who is just like that, someone who is riding upon the horse of
让现在要把点中给参与经济大了学习度是，他的背了个是吧？开联吧是吧？让些点中参与度，俺那开联行度大了学习度是，身为应该，俺那让些东把点中给团的应该，生应该太没明白， 마음이 바나 테마도 와나 아니 단주를 잡아도 용하레스.
So as they're riding upon the horse of
배고 알아.
랑싱이 통비 랑싱이 유배 통바
两星期月白东巴电中给参议件是，人群有把等把电中给参议给打了新都是个，两星期月白东把电中给参，两星期月白东把的电中给参议的是吧？电中参议，参议件就打了新都是电中参议的是，台马先什么应白，俺呢两星期月白东把电中给参议的马没办呐。 단중의 찬이도 마음이 봐 마셔봐 인상 아니 뭐 받쳐지 단중을 잡아도 연구하래서
단중기 마음에
세미배 테 마음이 봐서가 랑신지 예배 동바 단중기 찬이 임바데 마음이 봐 마음이 봐 마셔봐 인상 다 단중을 잡아도 연구하래서
So this person is they're riding on the horse of I'm sorry, I'm getting really tied up in the grammar here.
그 셔봐라.
랑싱기 유배 동바 된중기 신이 징기다
천이 기타는 랑시 예배 동바 된중기 천이 젠지 따라 신신도 세가 랑시 예배 동바 된중기 천이 에 대개 따라 신신 세대다 따라 신신 다제 바나 신천이 랑시 예배 동바 된중기 천이 레데 아니 다 신신의 다져봐 나신전에 아니 대마도바 서민이배 랑신주 여바 전지 된중기 천이대 마도바 서민배 마도바마 마유 바나 아니 코자라 잡아도 용하레스
마메ปฏิ 랑신기 통바 마메바야
오 마유 바 랑신 통바 랑신주 여바 도바 된중기 천이도 마메바
So this person is riding on the horse of 단중이 신이 징기다. What does it say?
It says,
having mounted a horse characterized by dependent origination, he puts and empty of its essential existence.
I'm not sure. 랑싱이 유배 동바 된중기 신이 요레스 그래.
된중기 천이 레스와
된중기 신이
단중의 천이 인바 인상 따라 신신도 다제 반나 신천이 천이 전지 따라 신신도 랑신도 바 단중의 천이 레스와 인자 랑신이 동바 단중의 천이 sem 인바기 랑신도 바 단중도 마도 바 인자 마미 바 인장 아니다 단중을 견디 용하레스 근데 이제 그 용어인데.
it's just starts right here. Somebody who's mounted a horse.
Yeah. But I'm not sure about this. Tata.
And then having not seen that refers to
Because, see, I think it says that things being empty of existing by means of essence is the definition of dependent origination.
and that's the horse that one's riding. And then due to distraction, distracted mind, not observing.
But see, they've taken this as two things: dependent origination and being empty of essential existence. And I'm
The way Gela described it, you've got the meaning, which is
yeah.
그래서
No.
가르쳐서
So the good data to Mendoza. So while they're riding on the horse of dependent origination, which has as its identity being empty of existing by means of essence. Yeah, that's right. I think so. Yeah. So while they're riding on the horse of dependent origination, which has as its identity being empty of existing by means of essence, their minds are distracted, and when they don't see that, mamikpati toni mamikpe.
랑신지 예배 동바 땡중ten도 마미바.
랑신이 예배 동바 땡중이 땡 mamikpa. So because they don't see being empty of existing by means of its essence upon dependent origination, then they make all these arguments against us. The person riding on the horse has forgotten the horse.
아니 가서데 대마미 바스나 란친시 예배동 바 땡중그 천이 임바데 마미 바인자 마도 바인자 안에다 접아지 연구하래.
So they don't understand that being empty of existing by means of essence is the definition of dependent origination. And so their minds being distracted, they don't recognize that definition or identity of dependent origination. And by not seeing it, because of their minds being distracted, it's like forgetting about the horse you're riding on. Then they make all of these arguments against us.
간다 마미 배 세다야가 동바 땡진 그 텐도 마미 라신지 예배 동바 땡진 그 텐도 교 간다게 마미 배 동바 니 마와 코나라 세 땡진 동비 텐도 마와 코나라 량가 초위스 마와라 아니 균 초와기 현지 균자다 가래 이세나 간이세나
간다 마미 배디
간다 마미 배 동반이도 마와 코나라 간다 마미 배에서 여기 라신지 동바 땡중 같은도 마미 배 아니 라신지 동바 땡중 같은도 마와 코나라 마와 탄주와라 마와 코나라 아니 량가 초바미 균 초위 아니 현지 균다 가르르잖아.
So then the commentary explains, or what follows in the text is that what those faults are, a clear explanation of what those faults are. So here it says, someone who is not observed, by not observing this, through not observing this, criticizes those who propound emptiness. Here, the person who has not observed, it means they have not observed that dependent origination has as its meaning emptiness. They haven't recognized or observed that fact that the meaning of dependent origination is the meaning of emptiness. And so they level criticism at those who advocate emptiness, who understand that the meaning of dependent origination is the meaning of emptiness.
아니 가세다. 가정원의 라신래 여바 제소 다체나. 대다이나 오원의 규제매바 최다우. 라 오원남 랑신래 여바 제소 다와체나. 랑신래다 랑신지 여바 제소 다와체나. 대다이나 랑신지 아니 가소를 규제인지 미제배 오원의 규제는 떼어매바 최다우. 라 대다이나 랑신지 규제인지 미제배. 오버나 랑신 레섬 랑신지 여바 제소 다와체나. 라 我不忘了这台大人呢你让心就举荐金没他就为呢啊你看是让心就举荐金没结我嘞是让心就举荐金没结把印章啊你举荐了没结我的股嘞是的印章我呢举荐举单见了对我没把这吃上打我嘞
So here then it says, then what are these faults that are, what are the various faults that this realist is ascribing to the proponent of emptiness? And they're taught in the following verses. If you consider things to exist due to their essence, due to essence or from essence, if that's the case, then you must see things as being without causes and conditions. And so the commentary explains this. If you consider things to exist from their essence, from essence or by means of essence, then if you consider them in that way, then since they're essentially not generated by causes and conditions, then things you would have to see things as not depending upon causes and conditions, as not being dependent upon causes and conditions.
That's right.
Yes.
Oh yeah. That is it. 这不当你就你当是吧？哦，这不当就了说话，是他的肯定是是呢。就是说，看的澎湃上星期要把多呢，澎湃到看啥都看的那澎湃来讲呢，看的澎湃上星期要把多呢，对呢，俺的澎湃设计给读，台了金巴了属于就当。 아니 현지 체제 아니 가서로다 분바 소식이 아니 콜로라 소와 와 교당 젠타기 거와 매바 거와 매라 분바 시비 대부양 주매바양 밑에도 와 그래서 가대 랑신지 여바 또나 얘나 아니 진발라 소와 그 교당 아니 젠타기 거와 요아 말에 So then
the explanation of how this is so is that the root text says that results and causes would be impossible or undemonstrable, inappropriate. It says, if a pot, if you imagine that a pot exists by means of its essence, then there's no need for it to have its causes, such as clay and so forth, and there's no need for it to have conditions. Conditions being like the wheel which the pot is thrown upon, cooperative conditions like that, and then one would also it would be the case that the result, such as the result which is the so-called pot, would become without any kind of cause. And this is unacceptable, is unjustifiable.
그러나 가대 분발하신지 여봐이나 분발하신지 여봐이나 다랑신지 비트 다지 규제라라 말해봐 여봐디봐 아니 규제라라 말해봐 요거래 규제라라 말해봐야나 대라 진발라 소위 주당 아니 오 현지 제장 콜로라 소위 겐타 그 거와요 말해 是吧？让新就过去前现在让马来吧，因此是吧？各买了，澎湃西这不当，俺那这不当就买把样，你澎湃西这也就买把样太个嘛的。 스와 다 랑신지 메어레 메바야 되고 말이
랑싱이
그죠
랑싱이
아데 kumba rangshinji yaba tona ase rangshinji yogores rangshinji yana rangshinji yebi tende gyujen shen la rama leba yobare gyujen shen la rama yaba yana pumbi nyele jimbatang ane henji chejen kolo la sowa taki la gwa mewa mare rwa gwa me la ta yang pumba shivi debu tang ju meba yang mare 랑신지 여바를 내려와 됐은거와
랑심이 비 bomba
랑신지 여바 또나 현라 라마라바 요거리 안 귀제 현라 라마바 김발라서 주다 견다 그 거와요 말했어
고요 bomba 쉐비 드부 규메바 양 밑에
아니 지당 봄바시비 대보다 주메바야 밑에바래
지당
탄주바도 라고와
So if the pot, if you imagine that the pot exists by means of essence, by its own essence, existing by essence, then again refers to something not depending upon something else, not depending on something other than itself. If the pot existed by means, if you imagine that the pot existed by means of that kind of essence, then there would be no purpose, no necessity for the things like causes such as the clay. Here, clay is sort of the material cause of the pot coming into existence. And the cooperative conditions such as the potter's wheel and so forth, all of those would become unacceptable, unnecessary. And it's also the case that a result such as a pot without any kind of causes is unacceptable, is not justifiable.
Oh, 라시지 메바 메비 텐도 소나 메나 메고구예나 아니 제법보다 제당자 깨와다니 가바당 저울라야 내봐 세가라 분바 라시지 메베 분바 메거나 아니 분바 제법보요 장간당 아니 장간기 분바 제비 차와당 아니 가서 장간당요 코로나 써와당 아니 분바 제비 차와야 메고 그래 대매바인다 아니 깨와당 가바당 아니 대불라야 내봐 쳐봤지 그래서 자와두체
랑신기 메베
랑신기 메나 메고 랑신기 메나 아니 메고 그래 와 분바 메나 아니 제법보 장간나 자질해서 되게 말해
So it's also the case that if the pot was essentially non-existent or non-existent by its intrinsic nature, if the pot was non-existent, then the agent, which is the potter, the
요새는 저거 말해 가소래 랑신지 출발되나 랑신 몇번 맞아봤대 랑신지 출발되나 아니 규제시한라 라말해봐 그봐 규제시한라 라말해봐 임봐 규제시한라 라말해봐 요나 라말해봐 요거예나 아니 제바보 강사당 분바그주 안에 가서 짐바당 dien라당 아니 차와 제바보다 제바당 아니 규단도 메고 그래
So
Sienla Rama Leba Yoko Ranshi Trumna, Sienla Rama Leba Yoko Re, Sienla Rama Leba Yana, Ane Chawa Cheba Bodang, Chawadang, Chebadang, Judan, Genlasoa, Mekugres.
Sienla Rama Leba.
Sienla Rama Leba Yana.
So if the pot did not exist depending upon others, one can read this line this way as well. If the pot did not exist depending upon others, then one could say that the agent, which the potter in this case, and the instrument, that is the wheel and so forth, the potting wheel, etc. And the action, which is the action of creating the pot, all of those would become non-existent. And if those are non-existent, then the arising and the stoppage, the cessation of the pot would also become non-existent. And so this position negates or refutes the existence of results as well.
That's one. That's one. They invite there. Donna, Jundedan, Jagaso, Shato Murumade, Sulare, Sana, Ranshinji, Truala, Jundeta Jagala, Sova Shato Murumare. Ranshinji Trua Tombala, Jundes Jagachato Muramare. Da Ranshinji Truala, Jundeta Jagala, Sova Shato Muruma, Kadere, Sana, Ranshinji Trua Dungangi, Moana Ranshinji Yapa, Dugare. Ranshinji Yana, Shala Ram, Jujan Shala Ram, Malaba Yokore. Jujan Shala Ram, Ram Malaba Yokana, Jujan Shan Kue Mare. Wow, they in that castle there. And Jundetan, Jagaso, Shadow Miroma, Owana, Ranshinji Yaba, Kona like Jundu Tue, Chuniji Gun, Ranshinji Tombala, Chaji Mirumi, Jundi. Cherang Ranshinji Trubala and Jugure, Ranshin Trubamora Jugure, Gendu Chuao.
So, in brief, then, if causality, cause and effect, the rising and cessation and things and such are unsuitable. Here, this is referring to within the position of someone who is a realist. They think that if things aren't established by means of some kind of essence, if they're not established by means of essence, then things cannot exist. They would not exist by means of essence. And if they don't exist by means of essence, then they don't exist at all. And that being so, then all of these sorts of relationships of agents, actions, the instruments of action, and all of the rest, the objects of actions, the results that come about from actions, all of these things will become completely unacceptable or unsuitable or undemonstrable. And so someone who says that Gyundedan Kegaso Shatomiruma Gyundedan Kegaso
Shatomirumani Shatomirumade Ona Ranshinji Yaba Mawa Konala Jugures. Gendo Judan de Carre, Ranshinji Yaba Ma Konala, Ranshinji Yaba Duguare, Ranshinji Yana, Jujan Shan Ram Alaba Yokore.
So all these, the unsuitability of presenting cause and effect, arising and cessation and so forth, all of this is really only applies, these faults only are applicable to realists, people who say that things exist by means of their essence. Those faults all derive from that position that they're holding, that things exist by means of essence, which entails it means that they don't exist depending upon other things outside of themselves. And because of all of those faults that are actually existing only for someone who's propounding things existing by means of their essence, then because of that, you have transformed your own faults and into our faults.
Xianla Ram Malaba Yona, Pena Pumbata would de Ranshinji Yana, Pumbati, Jujan Shanla Ram Malaba Yokores. Jujan Shanla Ram Malaba Yana, Ane Pumba Sojiki, Zangandang, Jujimbatang, Henry Chejan Kolola, Sovagala, Mateva Yokores. Mateva. They in that Henry Chejan Gugu Amari, Jujimba Gugu Amari, Chebabo, Ane Kansa Gugu Amari. 고사.
So the holding that things exist by means of essence, meaning that they have some sort of intrinsic being that's not coming out dependent upon causes and conditions, that's what it means for something to not depend upon others. To not depending on others entails something having intrinsic being or existing by means of essence. Someone who, if something doesn't exist dependent on others, then if you had a pot that existed in that way, then it would exist without depending upon the primary material it's made out of, the clay. It wouldn't depend upon the agent that creates it, the potter. It wouldn't depend upon the cooperative conditions, the potter's wheel and so forth. It wouldn't depend upon the activity of creating the pot. It wouldn't depend upon any of those causes and conditions.
다 랑게 셔봐. 공부를 랑게 셔봐. 반대 탄주위 셔봐. 엄마 땡중 그 텐도 땜바. 다때 저 말에 엄마 땡중 그 텐도 아니 땜바 되나 코자라 남샤 탐제 랑신지 동바 쳐라 아니 군대 차지 소지 남샤 태바기 아니 군대한테 다 디마샤고 하래.
So then,
대샤샤.
so next comes our own position, which of the position of Arya Nagarjuna, in which which gives the reason why all of the presentation of cause and effect and so forth, all of those are fitting or justifiable, and that's explained in what follows. And we'll stop there for now.
네.
Thank you, Juji, man.
나도